the first topic, the main topic, the reason we're here, the reason this exists is the launch of the cannabis industry in Thailand. So, the question is, how has it gone? Has it been comparable to other launches in other markets? What do you guys think?
I'm enjoying it. I think it's a great idea.
As a tourist, yes. How about as a local?
Yeah, I think it's been pretty good. You know, everything has been blossoming and kind of growing into its own. This whole marijuana industry.
The launch is great. Nowadays it's everywhere. Oh, it's good to see.
This is just for the Pokey Downy. That's the Pokey Downy device. Yes, can't forget about that. For when it, you start smoking it and it, whatever.
Oh, and you can rejig it around.
Yeah, just you need to rejig it once you smoke a little bit.
I feel like I need a monocle and some coattails. I think it's a fantastic idea. It's the best decision most countries could make. If you look at what has happened in America in the last 10 years, it's been 10 years since it's been legalized.
20 years? Yeah, I mean,
10 years.
I guess you would say. I mean, like 1996, 1995 was when it was medical legal in California, and that is kind of comparable to what's happening here in Thailand. We will see if they change the law to be requiring a medical permit to carry cannabis. That's how it was in California. But then, out of the woodwork comes all the hip doctors to provide the permits for anyone who needs to have one. So, I mean, the same thing will happen here, I think, and, the insiders understand that. So, they do talk about changing things a lot, though.
Do you think it will go the same route as the medical marijuana route? Because at the moment, it's anybody can run into a dispensary and buy as long as you're over 21. Is that right?
I don't think there's an
19.
I don't think there's an age restriction. Much lower than I think it's lower than 21.
So, no being pregnant. Yes. Anutin has said that they won't go backwards on legalization. Adding the medical aspect doesn't mean it's going backwards, so I still think that's a possibility. But maybe they'll just keep it how it is. Because now I think the thing that's a little different is this integral 6 plants growing thing.
Yeah.
So if anyone can just do that, that's separate from registering for a medical permit. You already have the system in place for anyone can just grow. So now I need another permit to get, I can grow it, but I can't use it unless I have the medical thing, So they've kind of painted themselves into a corner is what I think has happened. But, I don't know. You think it'll change? Or?
Yeah, I think there are going to be more restrictions on marijuana. It was kind of inevitable. Since the beginning, there was nothing at all. No restrictions, nothing. Just absolutely, it's fine. Grow 6 plants and smoke weed.
Do you think they'll go back on legalization in some way, though? That's the question. Get rid of the 6 plants thing and make it oil only and super highly controlled and.
Yeah, I mean. At some point,
that's another possibility,
I think it will be more controlled because there has been stories going around just kids smoking weed and just smoking too much being hospitalized. So I think there will be more restrictions.
I think yes, that thing is going to come out of the news post legalization, but I think a lot of that was happening already, and legalization doesn't cause any more of that to happen. If anything, you tend to have cleaner cannabis with less chemicals that's less likely to have those kind of effects. After legalization, and I think Thailand needs to see some more regulation. Now California. I don't know about Amsterdam. Like, is there some kind of like FDA-like thing that's in place has regulations for growing the weed in Amsterdam? I don't know if such a thing exists.
Yeah, very much so.
So these things are in other markets exist, but in Thailand not yet. So this is kind of the missing component. Speaking of Amsterdam, I mean, this is the whole new thing. The supply and demand. I mean, the market cannot keep up with this demand. So we're seeing, I think, a lot of imported stuff. What do you think, guys? Have you had all the imported things, or you're sticking to the local stuff?
No, me personally, I just stick mostly to local things.
What about other people you know?
Well, a lot of my friends that are from overseas that have lived here for quite a while, they tend to seek out strains from California, since that's where he was before. And he just seems to prefer what he's had over there. But that's from someone who's been here for a while, who lives here, right?
I gotcha. So, I mean, the dispensaries are pretty ridiculous. I think the pricing that we're seeing is just insane. I don't know what it's going to be. What is it going to take for these prices to go down? I don't know. How the shops are getting away with these prices still.
Yeah, the shops.
Well, there's a demand for it. People will pay it. I've been to several dispensaries. I've been dispensary hopping and going to as many as I can and buying a gram of weed of anything that looks very nice. That seemed like the best way to kind of, experience what's happened in Thailand recently. It was literally, I want to go to as many different coffee shops and go, oh look, they're doing this, and they've got little microscopes and little lights for it, and this place has got like a really nice chill lounge, and you can go and sit there. This place is more like a cocktail bar, and it's been really quite nice because as it seems like the legislation and stuff is quite open at the moment, that everybody's kind of doing what they think would be the right setting. Is it going to be like a medical dispensary thing with a guy in a lab coat? Is it going to be like a nice cocktail bar? Is it going to be something like that, like a cafe but they sell weed and you can just smoke a joint in there? There are several different concepts. It's interesting to see what everyone's been doing.
For me, it's shocking to see this much experimentation so quickly. I thought it would take some time for the marketplace to mature into these kinds of businesses, but it's just like day one, from the get-go, just whatever, willy-nilly. Like people selling all kinds of edibles when it doesn't seem like that's legal. Suddenly people are selling like magic mushrooms on Facebook, like... it's so weird, I think. The other thing which really is exciting to see is this discussion about the old strains. Like people see this word Thai stick, people are familiar with in the West. Which I didn't realize until recently is interchangeable with this strain, which I was calling squirrel tail, but apparently Thai people say the same thing. Thai stick, squirrel tail, same to same. Yeah. For me, this has been my favorite of the land-raised strains. I've had a few other ones, I guess. You see some compressed stuff around. You see some kind of maybe things that are sprayed from chemicals that people say it comes from Laos. This stuff, though, as far as I know, is fairly locally grown, and I think it's a fantastic value. You know, we certainly get some higher grade things from local growers. There's a lot of imported stuff going around, you know, but a lot of it's overpriced and yeah, and like people, 800 a gram,
50, 900.
1200 a gram, 1500 a gram.
I haven't seen 1200 anywhere.
I've seen it.
What's the most ridiculous price?
1500 I saw, which I thought was crazy.
Did you actually see the weed?
I had a picture, yeah. I mean, it was a picture with a price, and I'm like looking at it. I'm like, what? This is the price of harder drugs. I will say. I don't know per gram. So this doesn't even make any sense anymore. This is nonsensical now at this point.
I saw 0.3. I think it was 0.2 grams. It was on the street in Koh San Road.
Don't forget that
For like 200.
There's a whole
the carb. There's a
at the
carb.
bottom.
Oh shit! I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw
Check the lights.
0.2 grams.
Thank you.
0.2 grams for I think 300 baht on the street in Khao San Road. That's the highest price I've seen, but I can see that as someone just going, this bit, I'm a tourist, I really don't care, I have got 300 baht to blow because I'm a tourist on holiday for the first time in Thailand in my life. I'll throw them in there. I could see people paying that.
I guess. But
Extortionate.
it is, and it seems to me, this is the part I don't get, because it seems to me that there are enough dispensaries around, when you look around,
They're everywhere right now.
For enough competition to in the marketplace. People are selling online. People are selling on different communities. For me, my experience, I find that there's quite a lot of gatekeeping and a lot of preferential advertising, if you will. Besides all that tomfoolery, there's a lot available. You don't even have to set foot outside your house, you know. So that's the thing that gets to me when I'm like, how are you getting 1,200 a gram for something when you can just literally go on any online community has some kind of cannabis community that people are advertising way cheaper than that. So everywhere you look, like you don't even have to like ask a question. It's just search it. You'll find a community. You'll find people posting for super cheap on that community. What are you doing? So, yeah. Anyway, I guess this time, in time, the market will regulate itself. And thank you. And we shall see. But
Well, it's free market. If people are paying, if people are buying weed at 1,500 a gram.
Yeah, especially in Bangkok, I've seen some ridiculous prices. Like 1,500, 1,700 is like, but 17 is the highest I've ever seen. That's like some imported,
Yeah. Rocket fuel.
Yeah.
rocket fuel, we had that. Yeah.
So I strained, 2 or 3 days ago.
And the most surprising thing is, it's like, especially in Bangkok that I've seen, it's more middle-aged, like office guys, coming home from work, buying a gram, taking it home, or smoking it in the shop. It's not really anyone young, which was surprising to me. I thought it was going to be more towards the younger side, like early 20s, college kids.
This is what happens with legalization: is that all the old smokers who have been smoking for years and years, closet smokers, all come out of the woodwork. They're like, oh great, I don't have to care anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
So, this is what I saw years ago when they first legalized, and they did the amnesty thing. I don't know if you guys remember. And they said, oh, register your weed with the government, with the FDA, and we'll have an amnesty period where anyone can register in this period, and then they won't arrest you as long as you have within your amount that you registered for. And even if you have over that, the worst they can do is just take it away from you, and not all of it, only the amount over what you have registered. So, as far as I know, only 20,000 people had registered for this thing, and also, as far as I know, this thing is a permanent, non-expiring thing. So if you have gotten this thing, you have a permit to
Foreigners
have.
registered for this?
Oh yeah, foreigners could do it too,
Yep.
and 20,000 people though out of everyone in the in all of Thailand, foreigners and Thais included. So I imagine a very small percentage of that was foreigners. But yeah, a few people I talked to have also done it, besides myself.
What's your favourite kind of strain and type of weed?
Oh, that's a good question.
You've seen or anything particularly notable?
I don't
Go around
know.
the table.
The rocket fuel that we just had was actually amazing,
Rocket
and
fuel,
and
that's what
I did another joint. We shared a joint, and then I did another one by myself later on, and it just put me right out.
Yeah.
So that was a bit because I wasn't that impressed when we shared one, and then I had it by myself, and I'm like, boom.
Do you believe the THC content posted on the
There's the
advertised
thing.
sign?
So
Something I'd like to
I mean,
discuss.
30% THC, 70% CBD.
Is
I mean-
30% THC possible?
Yeah, I mean,
Is it fortified
I-
cannabis? Like they've added some
Once
THC
again-
to it? What?
They dipped it in.
Once again, yeah, tell us in the comments if you think that the numbers that we're seeing in the dispensaries here in Thailand are accurate. I don't see it. There's no regulation. People are rebranding imported things.
Yeah.
Anything could be anything. Really.
Anything can be anything.
How could you really know? Is there a way to genetically test weed and go, this has the genetic markers of white widow, and you can see like the, you can see all the stuff. I'm sure.
There must be. There must be.
If not, there should be. That'd be awesome. You could analyze weed and literally tell you genetically what weed it is.
So do you guys like to smoke joints, or would you prefer bowls or bongs? What do you say?
I would say it depends on the day.
Depends on the day.
Joints are more
Okay.
social and bongs are for yourself. No? Joints you could share, you could chat, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, joints are more of a social platform.
It's never ending, so you can't just have it for yourself on a break.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I have used to be a bong guy, but I'm really big into joints now. Favorite strain? We forgot about that. Girl Scout cookies. That actually is my favorite of all time. Especially one of the first times I had it was one of my favorites. You guys have a favorite of all time strain you've had?
Honestly, I haven't tried enough strains to know what's my favorite.
Huh.
But like last week, I tried Blue Dream. It was pretty nice. It's a slow hitter though. Like
Comes
you won't
on
feel
slow.
anything- You won't feel anything at first.
Huh.
It's kind of nice but dangerous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had this strain when I was over at my friend's house. It was called Mandarin Sunset.
That's my favorite.
That's
it
the
is
one that goes around
amazing.
here.
Yep.
Yep. That's a good one,
It
man.
is so good.
Yeah.
So pleasant.
Comment if you've had Mandarin Sunset.
It's a nicer name than cheetah piss. Much nicer name than cheetah piss.
Cheetah piss, yeah.
There's got to be something in these names.
Yeah, the names have gotten crazy, yeah.
I won't buy cheetah piss out of principle for naming it that. It smelled really nice and it didn't really smell like cheetah piss. It had like an acrid scent to it.
Same
that mean
thing
you've
with the
actually
weasel
smelled?
shit coffee. On principle, I'm kind of about
But
that
that's
one.
literal. It has been shit out by a weasel. Like this is
Pretty much, yeah, so... yeah.
I've really enjoyed truffle butter. I found some truffle butter at one dispensary, and that was particularly nice. Just the smell of it. When I read truffle butter, there might be a thing of, you think truffle butter, you smell truffle butter, but it really did get me, and I salivated, so I immediately brought it out.
Yeah, I mean, the wedding cake in general has been very popular, and things that are crossed with wedding cake. I had a candy wedding cake, which was amazing. Just the flavor profile it was one of the best I ever had. Same thing with the vape. When I was in the West, I had a wedding cake vape cart, which was also very, very tasty. That's something I think this market will advance into we will have some kind of vaping happening eventually. I don't know. I think that I never understood why, even with tobacco vape, like, why doesn't just, like, if the tobacco monopolies or whatever don't want vaping to happen, why don't they just take it over and, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, control it themselves, and they're the ones who sell it.
Yeah.
What are they waiting for? I don't know.
Do you think that'll happen? The cannabis industry will be taken over by big tobacco?
Well, that's what people. I remember when I used to live in America before legalization was widespread there. People always used to say, like, "Oh, if legalization happens in America in a big way, the tobacco companies are going to take it over." Marlboro's already got the bread set aside for weed. You know, it's going to be whatever color, Marlboro green or whatever it is. But yeah, that doesn't seem to be the case. It doesn't seem that tobacco has any interest in the weed cannabis industry. So the vaping thing is the surprising thing for me, because that's become so big. In Thailand, they just block it. So
Yeah.
but I have seen some weed vapes around, you know.
Yeah.
They're around.
Yeah.
I was very interested to hear today that the normal tobacco vapes in Thailand are banned.
Yeah.
I don't really like them, but I'm very surprised
Yeah.
that they're actually
Yeah, they're banned because a lot of people has a lot of hands in the industry, right?
Yeah, it's the
So where can you find cartridges for weed?
you know they're around. You got to look very carefully. So the dispensaries don't have them yet. It seems to me. You know, they're too scared to carry them. You know, there's communities online that are you can find, but even that is it's going to be sketchy. You know, so I see people that have them around, and I'm like, doesn't look like it has any branding on it. I'm like, where'd you get that? And he's like, oh, you know, some shop they're selling it under the table or whatever. And I'm like, who knows what's in that thing? I'm like, I'm not doing that, whatever. So, you know, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, there's some medical benefits from cannabis, but when it comes to stodgy vape cartridges and, you know, that's certainly that doesn't sound good at all. No. We still don't, I think, know, like, long term, even like vaping in the right way or with good, you know, I don't know how you would compare vaping good chemicals or vaping bad chemicals, but
we just need to be certified. That
yeah, we're some vaping good chemicals. I think still long term. We don't understand the long term health effects, but which could be very bad.
Vape is just aerosol. You know,
yeah,
you're breathing it.
Perhaps it's not as bad as actual tobacco. Certainly, we can say cannabis is not as bad for you that tobacco is. I guess anyone could agree to that. COVID. Did you guys hear about that? Smoking cannabis helps your COVID symptoms.
I smoked a lot of weed when I had it once. It was quite fun. I had a week in my bedroom smoking loads and loads of weed. Somebody brought me food.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, it has an anti-inflammatory property. So, you know, so it's irritating your lungs, but also there's anti-inflammatory, so inflammatory and anti-inflammatory at the same time.
Yeah, you're much better to eat it.
I don't know. Eating it does not do it for me. I don't know about you guys.
No, edibles aren't really my thing either.
I don't really want to try edibles. That's one thing.
Do edibles work on everyone?
No. I mean, well, yeah, for me, no. I
They
don't.
don't work on you, right?
It doesn't do a thing. I
They
just.
do shit to me.
I've heard that there's an enzyme that some people don't produce, and that's why they just can't get high off of eating THC. They're like physically unable to digest it. Sounds really weird.
Well, it's like the unfun enzyme. I don't know. It's kind of nonsense, but
Do you think that's what you have? So if you can't get high off of ever, like taking those.
Yeah, as I said, it's just the unfun enzyme. I don't know what else to say. You know, I have felt the same about dabs as well. I did dabs like in the West like a few years ago for the first time. People talked it up like really quite a lot, and I'm just like, yeah, it's fine. Just like smoking, I don't know, whatever. It's like bong hits, whatever, man. It's nothing big about it. Yeah, I think we will see a lot more things. But we do see the government, well, some people in the government, you know, demonizing, here in Thailand anyway, demonizing cannabis in general.
Yeah.
You know, getting back to if they're going to reverse the legislation, who knows? But I think that really the discussion should be like, if you're going to demonize cannabis, we really should be talking about alcohol, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, like, alcohol is worse. I don't know. You know? So, drinking and driving is bad. People die. Smoking weed and driving is also bad, but do people really die from that?
I think it's no factor being high and drinking.
I guess so. People do.
And if you're very, very tired, then that could be the case anyway.
Certainly that-
It's like if you're incredibly high, it's like being incredibly tired driving.
There has to be legislation. You can't be high and drive, right? Okay. We could agree to that, but
Yeah, but you can't be tired and drive. I think it should be the same as that. Really.
well, the testing is also tricky.
Because also, how do you do it if someone's taking medical marijuana?
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm prescribed this by my doctor. Does that mean, you know, they're never allowed to drive? It's not the case, right?
It's with a lot of these things. There's, I think, more questions than answers, and that's the scary thing.
That's the interesting thing about the Netherlands is it's decriminalisation. The idea being like, you know, we don't care anymore. It's decriminalised. It's not accepted. It's not legal. It's not illegal. It's been decriminalised. Like, you know, the police resources and the care is put somewhere else. Because it doesn't really matter if you smoke a joint in your car after work. You know, that's okay.
In any case, there needs to be more of these discussions. There needs to be a better and more communities about exposing the nonsense and finding the good things also. You know, like this squirrel tail here. I think it's better than most things you would find. I would say even that it's better than anything else for the value. If you can show me a better value than 100 baht a gram for this wonderful stuff here, I will shave my mustache. How about that?
Yes.
So, I have one more thing to ask all of you. Who's hungry?